Lab 4, cardiovascular assessment. We're mainly going to focus on blood pressure, but we're also going to show you how to take a heart rate. You always want to take a heart rate with the first two fingers, never with the thumb. The reason is the thumb has its own pulse, so you won't get an accurate count. You want to take it on the radial side. So over here underneath the thumb, you're going to take your first two fingers, find that heart rate. You're going to press down with enough pressure just until you find that. There it is. Once I've got it, I'm actually going to have a stopwatch. Start my count at 0. Time it for 30 seconds. That's going to give us our number of beats in 30 seconds. Just multiply that by 2, and that's beats per minute. And that's what we look for with a resting heart rate. Okay, let's move on to blood pressure. So with blood pressure, we've got our blood pressure cuff. The nice part about this one, it says right where the artery is supposed to go. So we're going to put this cuff on, measuring at the brachial artery. That brachial artery is right around here on this part of the elbow. Okay? So it gets covered up. I'm not actually going to go through and do this, but I'm going to show you the setup. So if I was to take this, I would put my stethoscope on. This is going to go with pressure right here on that artery. We're going to pump it up to about 170 millimeters of mercury. Then we're going to let it drop. And I'm actually, with our lecture notes, we talk about blood pressure and the sounds of taking a blood pressure. And there's also a procedure in your lab manual that talks about how to do that. So that's how we would take a blood pressure. This is how you take a normal blood pressure with the arm at heart level. So that's what's important here. The other ones that we're going to take, and we're going to put them here. And you need to think about these and what kind of outcomes you think we'd have. So if you look at page 29 in your lab manual, the first one is an isometric contraction. So with an isometric contraction, Sam, if you would reach under the table, okay, you have the blood pressure cuff here. I'm pulled down on the table so it doesn't come up. He's lifting, and we would take the blood pressure the same way and think about, what do you think would happen? Would it go up? Would it go down? Would it stay the same? Why would that happen? Next one is gravitational effects of blood pressure and above the heart. Raise your hand up. So in this position, with the blood pressure cuff right here, how would that blood pressure react? Okay, think about gravity and what's going on with blood flow, and tell me, and think about what you think would happen to blood pressure. Would it go up? Would it go down? What would it do? Next one is below the heart. So this one's a little harder for you to see if you want to move out this way, Sam. Okay. So here again, Sam's heart is about right here. We're taking pressure right here below his heart. And again, what's going to happen there? And why do you think that would happen? Okay, you can sit up. Next one is supine. All that supine means is laying flat. So laying flat, face up. That is a supine blood pressure. Go ahead and lay down flat for me, Sam. Okay, so in this situation, same thing. We would put the blood pressure cuff on here. Either arm doesn't matter. Put it here. We would take that blood pressure, and you would kind of think about, what do you think would happen with that. Now, if we immediately, which is what we want you to do, if I would have Sam immediately stand up and take that blood pressure right then, we also want to know what we think would happen with the blood pressure from going from a supine position to a standing position. And so when we go through these notes and this data, you'll actually see the results, and we'll talk through what happened. All right, hello again, everybody. Looking at the last part of Lab 4, which is blood pressure and heart rate response to exercise. So Sam's going to be doing a 3-minute bicycle protocol for us. He's going to be pedaling at 60 RPMs at about 3 kp, which is a resistance. So we're going to look at how does blood pressure respond to exercise and how does heart rate respond. So Sam, if you would start pedaling in 3, 2, 1, go. So every minute we're going to take a heart rate and we're going to take a blood pressure, and we'll see how those change throughout these 3 minutes. I'll let Ryan know about 5 seconds beforehand so he can start. We're going to take these at 45 seconds of each minute. So we've got about 15 seconds, and we'll both take our readings. Okay, 5 seconds, Ryan. Flip your hand over and go.
108/70.
Okay, 108/70. We're already about 20 seconds into the second minute, so we'll be taking these again here pretty quickly. All right, about 5 seconds, Ryan. Hand over. All right, last minute. Take one more reading here in about 35 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds.
(126/86).
Okay, when we go through the data, we'll look and see how heart rate and blood pressure responded to exercise.
All right, for the last portion of the lab, we're going to get an electrocardiogram, also known as an ECG or an EKG. You have this tracing of one cardiac cycle in your lecture. This is how we obtain that cycle. So you put 2 electrodes, one below each clavicle, and 2 electrodes down at the bottom of the rib cage.